Now let us discuss when a fluid particle is flowing in a flow field, what is the velocity and acceleration of that fluid particle, right? We have to derive some of the equations for the acceleration, and we will see how they will depend upon the space coordinates and the with respect to time also. Let us say that if any fluid particle is flowing, if any fluid is flowing, its velocity vector, let us say this is velocity, v is the velocity vector. So you know that any vector has a three component. One is in the x direction, y direction and z direction, right? You have, if we talk about the 3D space, if we talk about, then any vector has a three component, x axis, y axis and z axis. So we can say the velocity vector can be written as, its x component ui cap plus nu j cap plus omega k cap. This is the velocity vector, right? These are the vectors also, x component, y component and z component. If I say v is known as velocity vector, this is velocity vector, u is the x component of velocity, u is x component of velocity, nu is, this is nu is y component of velocity, and omega is z component of velocity. This is z component of velocity, right? And you already know that what is the magnitude of velocity? Magnitude of v will be equal to magnitude. How we will find magnitude? That is equal to under root of u square plus nu square plus omega square, right? This is from the basics of vector, you know already, right? Will not waste more time to find how this will come. This is a basic vector calculus. So you know that the magnitude of this will be under root of u square plus nu square plus omega square, right? Now we will say that we see the Lagrangian approach and the Eulerian approach. In the Eulerian approach, we are taking the space into consideration. That means the velocity will depend upon the space and time, right? If I can say that this u component of velocity, we will say that this u component of velocity is a function of space coordinates, that is x, y and z, and time also. We are saying that velocities are varying in space and in time both. We are considering, we are not taking any uniform flow, steady flow. We are taking a generalized flow in which the velocities are changing with time and with space also. So I can say that x component of velocity will change when the fluid is flowing in the x direction, in the y direction, in the z direction, anywhere the fluid will flow in any direction, x, y, z. So it is a function of x, y, z and time t. Similarly, we can say that the y component of velocity is also a function of x, y, z and time. And similarly, z component of velocity is a function of x, y, z and time, right? We are taking this, we are not assuming any steady flow, unsteady flow, we are not assuming, we are just generalize the equation that they may vary with time and with space both, right? Now let us find the acceleration of fluid particles. Next is the acceleration of fluid particles. Let us solve this. How the acceleration will calculate? We already see this is the velocities. Now we have to find the acceleration. Similarly, we can say that Acceleration is also a vector, so it is also a x component I cap plus its y component j cap plus its x component k cap. It is also have three components, right? X, y and z. Or if we can say that the acceleration of any particle is the differentiation of its velocity vector with respect to time. Differentiation of its velocity vector with respect to time. This is the acceleration. And if we say that, similarly, if we can say that the x component of acceleration will be equal to the differentiation of x component of velocity with respect to time. Obviously, right? X component will be the differentiation of x component with respect to time. Y component of acceleration will be equal to the differentiation of y component of velocity with respect to time, and z component of acceleration will be equal to the differentiation of z component of velocity with respect to time. These are the general mechanics problem, right? We calculate this. Now, first of all, let us find the x component of acceleration. Let us find the x component of acceleration. X component of acceleration. This is more a differentiation problem rather than the fluid mechanics problem, right? We will say I can write that the acceleration x component will be equal to the differentiation of x component of velocity with respect to time, and we know from our previous discussion that the x component of velocity is a function of x, y, z and time t, right? U is a function of both x, y, z and time t. So if you want to find the x component of acceleration, you have to differentiate this with respect to time. How to differentiate it? Right, this is a function of x, so you know the partial differentiation rule. How to solve it? We want to find what is the du by dt. So du by dt can be solved like, first of all, differentiate u with respect to x, then differentiate x with respect to time, right? You know this is a differentiation. This will be del u by del x into dx by dt, right? This is the way you will solve for this. If u is a function of x, x is a function of time, you can differentiate like this, right? Plus del u by del y into dy by dt, right? Plus del u by del z into dz by dt plus du by dt, right? Or you can write it here as del u by del t. It's a partial differentiation, okay? Del u by del t. It's a partial differentiation of u with respect to time. This is the differentiation which you know, right? What is this dx by dt? This dx by dt is change of x coordinate with time is x component of velocity. What is this dy by dt? dy by dt is the change of y coordinate with respect to time, that is the y component of velocity. And what is this? Sorry, not this. What is this dz by dt? This is the z component of velocity, that is omega. This is z component of velocity, that is omega, right? From here you can write what is u. U will be dx by dt. What is nu? dy by dt. And what is omega? dz by dt. right? dz by dt. So I can write here that the x component of acceleration will be equal to, you see, the x component will be u into del u by del x plus nu into del u by del y plus omega into del u by del z plus del u by del t plus del u by del t. This is the x component of acceleration. Just remember one thing, if you have to find x component, then inside every component is the x component. You have to remember this. Every component is the x component. Similarly, if I can write what is the y component of acceleration, it will be, you can easily write, you can derive it. Y component will be du nu by dt. Similar, you can write. So this will be equal to u into, now it is inside is del nu by del x plus nu into del nu by del y plus omega into del nu by del z plus del nu by del t, right? Similarly, z component of velocity will, z component of acceleration will be, just remember, if y you are writing y, then inside every component is y. So if you are writing z, then inside every component is omega. So it will be u into del omega by del x plus nu into del omega by del y plus omega into del omega by del z plus del omega by del t plus del omega by del t. So you can see from here that this is the x component, y component and z component, and you know that if you know all these component, if you know, then you can easily calculate what is the total acceleration. If I want to find, if you know all these three, then you know that how to write the total acceleration. The magnitude of total acceleration will be equal to under root of x component square plus y component square plus z component square. You will easily get this. The magnitude of the total acceleration. This is the total acceleration. Right. Now comes the most important concept. Please pay attention here. You can see from here that the acceleration formulas have two components. One is these components, another one is these components, right? These first three components are the acceleration because of variation of velocity in space. If the velocities are varying in x, y, z direction, then because of that the acceleration comes as this one, right? And this is the acceleration component because of the variation of velocity with respect to time. You know that velocity can change with respect to space and with respect to time. If with respect to space the velocities are changing, then these are the acceleration with respect to space, and this is the acceleration with respect to time. So if I write that these three components of the acceleration, these three components represent the acceleration. Please pay attention. These three represent the acceleration because of variation of velocity in space. Because of variation of velocity in space. If in space the velocities are varying, this is the acceleration, and this is known as this is known as convective acceleration. This is known as convective acceleration. Right. This is known as convective acceleration. And this component is, this is del u by del t or del nu by del t or del omega by del t. This is the acceleration because of velocity variation with respect to time. Velocity may vary with respect to space. It may vary with respect to space. Then the acceleration comes as convective acceleration, and velocity may vary with respect to time. Then the acceleration which comes with respect to time is known as local or temporal acceleration. Local or temporal acceleration. This is known as local or temporal acceleration. Right. Then you can say very confidently one thing: if the flow is steady, that means velocity will not change with the time. So if the flow is steady, then this local acceleration will be 0 for steady flow, because for the steady flow the fluid parameters will not change with the time. They are 0. If the flow is uniform, that means flow parameters are not change in space, so the convective acceleration is 0. This is 0 for uniform flow. This is 0 for uniform flow. So this is the main thing, that if the flow is steady, temporal acceleration 0. If the flow is uniform, convective acceleration 0. And if the flow is steady and uniform, complete acceleration will be 0. There should not be any acceleration. So I can say that, from here I can say that when the fluid is moving in a straight line, this is when the fluid is moving in a straight line. When the fluid is moving in a straight line, then you can write acceleration as, generalized equation will be equal to velocity into del v by del s plus del v by del t. This you have to remember. Plus del v by del t, right? This is u into del u by del x. So that this is simple. I am just writing the simple equation. So this will be your acceleration when the fluid is moving in a straight line. When the fluid is moving in a curved line, then some centrifugal acceleration, or you can say some other acceleration, will also come into picture. We will discuss it on later on with the help of some example. But you can see that when a fluid is moving in a straight line, this is the case. Now, if I can write when the fluid is moving in a circular path or in a curved path, when fluid is moving in curved path, what is the difference between a straight line and the straight line flow and the curved path flow? What is the difference? The major difference is, you know that velocity is a vector, right? Velocity is a vector. So a vector can be changed by two ways. Either you can change the magnitude of that vector, or you can change the direction of that vector, right? If the fluid is moving in a straight line, then the velocity direction is not changing. Velocity is in the same direction. So the acceleration because of the change of direction of velocity will not come into picture in a straight line flow. But if I can say that when the fluid is flowing in a curved path, let us suppose the fluid is flowing in this path, then at each and every point, the fluid velocity direction is changing. The fluid velocity direction is changing. So here you have acceleration, that is the change of velocity, and this change of velocity will be of two types, will be because of two ways. One is because of magnitude and one is because of direction, right? So I can write here that when the fluid is flowing in a curved path, then you write that acceleration will be equal to change in velocity with respect to time. And when it is moving in a curved path, this change in velocity will be because of either you can change the magnitude and also velocity is changing by direction. Direction of the velocity is also changing. By these two ways, that velocity is changing when the fluid is flowing in a curved path. So the acceleration because of change of magnitude of velocity is known as tangential acceleration. And the acceleration because of change in the direction of velocity is known as normal acceleration. Right. Now, these are also, tangential acceleration is also again of two types. The velocity may change with space, with time. So we have tangential convective acceleration, tangential convective acceleration, and tangential local acceleration. Also, the direction can change with space and with time also. So similarly, we have normal convective acceleration and normal local acceleration. We will see it with examples later on. So this is the difference between a fluid in straight line and fluid moving in a curved path. So you can say that this normal acceleration is zero when fluid is flowing in a straight line. Fluid is flowing in a straight line. Right, this is the difference between this. So this is how you can calculate the acceleration of a fluid particle. X component, Y component, Z component, they can vary with space, they can vary with time.